My name is, and welcome to the WSU Tri-Cities Student Support Town Hall. My name is Dr. Paul Skilton. I'm an associate professor in Management, Information Systems, and Entrepreneurship, and one of the faculty senators for the campus. And I'm pleased to be the host for this event. The purpose of this town hall is to provide updates, resources, tips, and guidance to students for a successful conclusion of fall semester, as well as to provide updates on plans for spring semester. It's hard to believe that midterms are behind us. We also know that you have many questions about the upcoming spring semester at WSU Tri-Cities, and if you can feed those into the Q&A function, that would be great. I would now like to introduce Chancellor Sandra Haynes, who will provide opening remarks and major updates for the spring semester.
Gotta unmute. Sorry about that. You know, you'd think after all these months of using Zoom that I would automatically unmute, but alas. So hello there, and welcome to the Tri-Cities Town Hall on plans for spring. I want to start off today by saying that we understand that these times are really challenging. The past 6 months have been difficult to navigate, both in the Tri-Cities community and in our Cougar community, especially as information about this virus has changed and the infection rates have fluctuated, and we get information changing at a very rapid pace. But I want to make sure that each of you understands how committed we are here at WSU Tri-Cities in making sure our students, staff, and faculty are supported through this time of uncertainty. Really want to thank you for your adaptability throughout this semester as we, as a Tri-Cities and a Cougar community, partner to protect the health and safety of our communities at large during this ongoing pandemic. With that, we appreciate your forthcoming support as we continue to reduce the risk of spreading COVID-19 to our surrounding communities by making some much needed changes for spring semester. You likely know by now that the delivery of spring semester classes will be very similar to that of the fall. The majority of classes will be taught virtually, and those requiring in-person components will be offered with the most up-to-date protocols to ensure the health and safety of our students, faculty, and staff. That means lots of mask wearing at a minimum. In response to student requests and our movement into phase 2 of the stay home, stay safe order, we are allowing a few more exceptions and that would expand the number of courses with in-person components. For those that are unable to attend in-person components as scheduled, we will also have virtual options available for those classes. We're going to continue to be flexible to meet the needs of our students, faculty, and staff. We realize these times have created additional challenges for students especially, and we want to make sure that you all have access to what you need for your education. In conjunction with the rest of the WSU system, instead of beginning spring semester on January 11th as originally scheduled, we will begin on January 19th. This is a strategic decision planned to give us time to safely assess the requirements from the U.S. Department of Education regarding instructional modalities. They have still not come down on whether we can offer fully online courses or not, and we don't expect a decision until after the election. It will also allow us time to let students adjust as we head into the spring semester. This also allows us to keep the coordinated schedule of classes with the rest of the WSU system because, as you know, there are many students who take classes delivered from other WSU campuses and vice versa. We need to be on the same schedule. In an effort to reduce non-essential travel by students, faculty, and staff, the university will also replace the traditional spring break that occurs in March with a series of midweek academic breaks. These will be days that are scheduled throughout the semester. The breaks will occur, as I said, midweek, February 25th, March 17th, and April 13th. A class holiday will also take place on President's Day as originally scheduled, and that is on February 17th. These days off will give you a midweek break to take a breather and rest your mind nearly once per month throughout the semester. I know that it's disappointing for many of you not to have a traditional spring break, but know that we are doing this for everyone's safety, students, faculty, staff, and our community. We are wrapping up programming to help with stress relief for the spring semester. We recently hired a new mental health counselor who has hit the ground running in preparing programming and counseling options for students. Our advising team is working to set up some group study opportunities, providing additional opportunities for you to get together with your peers virtually and better get to know your fellow students. Our student engagement and leadership team, in partnership with our student entertainment board and campus recreation, are preparing a range of fun activities for you throughout the semester, including more of the popular Coug Packs. We hope you tune in and participate in those activities and others that you are planning for this spring. And for those of you graduating this spring, we are hopeful for an in-person graduation event, truly face-to-face, or something creative, such as a drive-through ceremony. We have received many questions regarding tuition and student fee adjustments because classes and services will be offered in a mostly virtual format. Tuition levels will remain the same. They are the same as our WSU Global Campus. For that price, however, Tri-Cities students receive not only an education online, but teaching by faculty who use technology to create exceptional interactive spaces. In a usual year, mandatory student fees are $487 more for WSU Tri-Cities students than on the global campus. It is in the fees that the difference in cost is seen and not in the tuition. For the fall semester 2020, students have asked the Board of Regents to consider a fee reduction. This change, should the Regents approve it, and we will know soon, puts WSU Tri-Cities fees at $97 over those of Global Campus for the fall. We expect that a similar recommendation will be made for students for the spring semester 2021. That's quite a reduction in the amount of money that you will pay. If you need assistance, please let us know. We have several ways in which we can help with some of the issues that have arisen due to the coronavirus. We have open study spaces in Pasco, Prosser, and on campus, and will likely be opening more study space next semester so students can find that quiet place to really study hard. ASWSU-TC launched their local laptop loan program for students who need access to technology. If you are struggling financially due to the pandemic, we can connect you with funding that will support you and allow you to continue your education. You can reach out to Student Affairs regarding the hardship funding at Tri-Cities Student Affairs at wsu.edu. Or you can fill out a Cougar Cares form at tricities.wsu.edu/Cougar Cares. We are here for you in all of those ways because we want to see you succeed. I really want to thank you all for your patience, compassion, and incredible hard work throughout the past few months. You have accomplished much in the face of adversity, including building your resilience. You are the best of the best, Cougs. I'm now going to turn the floor over to Dr. Paul Skilton. Paul?
Thank you, Chancellor Haynes. I would like the panelists to introduce themselves now. And
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Anna Plemons. I'm the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, and we thank you for joining us.
Hi, everyone. My name is Evelyn Martinez Ostrom. I'm the Assistant Director in the Office of Student Engagement and Leadership.
Hello and welcome. I'm Karina Ispuro. I'm the Interim Director for Academic Advising.
Good afternoon. My name is Chris Myers, and I'm the Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs and Deputy Title IX Officer.
fantastic. Karina, academic advising for spring semester started this week as students prepare to wrap up the full semester in the high flex environment and make plans for the spring semester. What advice do you have for students to stay on track and stay focused to graduate?
Yes, thank you, definitely. Well, first, I would like to commend students for this semester. You guys have shown just enormous effort to connect academic advising and your professors. It is important to continue your graduation path because you don't want to delay classes that could be prerequisites for the following terms. Having courses in a virtual setting this semester has prepared you for many skill sets that will translate in your future careers. Academic advising has begun group advising this week, and it is the best way to communicate with your academic advisor to get your schedule ready for the next term. It will best allow you to stay on track for graduation and stay focused on the path at hand. Also, use your advisors during these times of the year. We are here for appointments when you need advice.
Thank you, Karina. The next question is for Dr. Myers. As students prepare for the spring semester, what are some thoughts about how to get prepared to be successful? What services will students have available for spring semester?
Thank you, Dr. Skilton. And hello again, Cougs and friends. We really do miss seeing you on campus. I also want to assure you, like Karina, that our top priority is for you to stay on track to graduate with your degree. Like many of you, spring break is a time where faculty and staff take breaks, catch up on work, or probably something in between. One way to frame the spring semester is to think of spring break as moving to the start of the semester, since we will start 1 week later than expected. I really encourage you all to take time to rest, renew, and recharge over the longer holiday break. The change should not impact the overall workload, and faculty are working right now very hard to make adjustments to fit the new schedule. My best advice for you right now, like voting, is to start early and make a plan. Go to group advising sessions or make a meeting with your academic advisor. Take advantage of the additional mental health, wellness, and other resources that are available to you in the Connected Coug and social media channels that the Chancellor has mentioned. Stay engaged in the fun and new activities sponsored by the Student Entertainment Board, ASWSU TC, and other departments across campus. One thing I'm really happy about is many of these activities are also Zoom free too. So there's new and inventive ways to stay engaged with your fellow Cougs and friends. Students, family members, and friends, if you need advice, need to ask questions, or just not know where to turn first, the staff and student affairs are always happy to connect, to talk, or give you advice. You can easily book a personal appointment with anyone from the student affairs team in the link that's pasted into the chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. And I'm going to break out of our order here to pass a question from the Q&A to Chancellor Haynes. And that question is, what's the projected date for all classes to be in person?
So our projected date, based on predictions about where we'll be with the virus, of course, is fall 2021. And we're actually really excited about that particular date because our new building will also be completed by fall 2021. So hopefully we'll be back on campus in a new building, or at least some of us will be in a new building. We're using this time also to make other improvements on campus. So we're very excited to welcome you back just as soon as we can come back. And campus will be a lot more welcoming and prepared for you to be here.
Thank you, Chancellor Haynes. Another common question that both we and the ASWSUTC have heard is related to additional days off during the semester and treating them as true breaks to relax and recharge. Dr. Plemons, can you discuss preparations for faculty and advice for students for working with faculty on this spring and not working on days off?
Thank you, Dr. Skilton. Yeah, this is really important, and we have heard from our students that this concern is real, and so we are working very closely with our faculty and being very clear that the expectation is that there won't be major exams or projects that are coming due on the back end of these micro breaks. So students can expect that will be the case, that their spring schedule will really respect and reflect this idea of micro breaks and the seriousness of really needing to take a break. I want to acknowledge that our students are under incredible stress right now, and that my concern is that they won't maybe be in a position or feel like they can give themselves permission to take those breaks. And so in the same way that if you would have, maybe planned something bigger, if you were going to leave in a more traditional spring break situation, I just would ask that students would be a little selfish and a little protective of their education and go ahead and plan to have those be breaks. So whatever it is that you do, like go for a hike or binge Netflix, whatever it is, go ahead and take that time, and rest assured that there won't be exams or projects on the back end. So, whatever it is, however you can use that micro break in a way that's best for you, go ahead and you can start doing that planning now. And we got your back on that.
Thank you, Dr. Plemons. I plan to take breaks. So Evelyn, this one's for you. The Student Entertainment Board, ASWSUTC, and Student Affairs offices have been developing some great ways for students to stay connected to each other and to the community. Can you provide some highlights for the rest of fall semester and what to expect in 2021 and any tips?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Dr. Skilton. So I'll start with some highlights for fall semester. So our student organizations have been very creative this semester in finding ways to engage the student body this fall. So as Chancellor Haynes mentioned, the Student Entertainment Board developed the popular Kook Pack program, where they created 10 themed kits and accompanying virtual programs to go along with those kits, which they've delivered throughout the semester. And they're about halfway through now. I think they're starting on their 6th one next week. Our associated students of WSUTC have continued to advocate for our students and have opened a door for them to reach out with any concerns they may have this semester. Our student clubs, who I think I'm most proud of, have really gone above and beyond to continue their meetings, programs, and activities in a virtual setting, and will continue to be a place where our students are invited to join and engage with one another. In terms of our Student Affairs Department, we have been working diligently to continue offering services to our students. For example, our Mosaic Center has celebrated Heritage Months virtually through guest speakers, panels, and videos. And their next event is actually on November 19th from 2 to 3 to recognize Native American Heritage Month. So be on the lookout for more info about that event. Career Services has provided Zoom workshops about resume writing and interviewing skills. They actually just held their first virtual career fair on the Handshake platform and are hoping to plan a second fair in the spring. Our admissions office and wonderful admissions counselors are still out there recruiting students to join the Cougar family. And our campus registrar, access, financial, veteran, and international student support services departments continue their valuable work virtually as well. So definitely keeping active and busy this fall for sure. In terms of what to expect in 2021, I've been really impressed with what everyone has done to adapt to the situation and pivot their work so that they can still provide a meaningful experience for our students. I'm confident that we'll continue to do that next year as well. And something else that my office is excited about, we're actually launching a new student engagement platform in the spring. It's called Coug Presence. And this is a tool that we're going to use to connect students to organizations and other co-curricular and leadership development opportunities. It's really going to help us to be more engaging virtually as it's an online platform as well. And finally, some tips for success that I can offer are stay connected with our student orgs and our departments via social media so that you can keep up to date on any events that are happening and other things that we want to share out with students. Talk to your professors or your supervisor or a staff member that you trust if you're struggling with anything. Challenge yourself to attend virtual events and provide feedback to student affairs on what you might like to see in the future. Switch up or rearrange your study or your workspace if you're starting to lose focus or motivation with your current setup. Identify your most productive times of the day and try to designate that time for homework or studying. And finally, make an appointment with Student Affairs via our booking site, which I believe is in the chat, with anyone from our team. We miss seeing our students and we're still here to help. Thank you.
Thanks, Evelyn. We're going to go to the Q&A for a question. Panelists are going to have to decide who they want to answer this. And the question is, why do we not have a full spring break besides the reasoning of COVID? Because we're not the main campus, and I would assume those of us who attend WSU Tri-Cities don't travel much like students who attend the main campus. So why couldn't our campus maintain the normal academic schedule?
That pause was not because we don't want to answer. I was wondering if Anna wanted to answer it, but I'm happy to answer it. I put an answer in the Q&A as well. Anna, just jump right in here if I say anything wrong, but what we do know is that all of our campuses are connected. There are many students on this campus that take classes from the Pullman or Vancouver in particular campuses, and there are students from those campuses and the Everett campus who take classes here. And so we're so interconnected in our class schedule that we needed to move together in order to make sure that there wasn't a disruption in class scheduling. It's a good question. It doesn't, on the surface, it doesn't necessarily seem to make a lot of sense, but when you dig just a little deeper, it certainly does.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I don't have anything to add, Chancellor, other than to say that I do understand from a student perspective, particularly if you're not taking classes on in other parts of the system, that that would feel like a frustration. But I think in the long run, our connection to other campuses and all the opportunities across the state, those are important to us. And so I think the benefits outweigh the drawbacks in the long run. And so we really are excited about all the ways that we work across the system with other campuses to provide more opportunities for our students. So this is the downside of what I think is a really good thing.
And just to point out that from the Faculty Senate, when we talked to the provost about this, there are going to be exceptions in some programs. So health sciences is clinical rotations and so on are going to have to be preserved, and spring break is important for that. And then courses where you do field work are also going to have exceptions. So there will be exceptions on the calendar, but overall, this is, for all the reasons enumerated. Okay, thank you for that. It's very contentious. See, many of our students have expressed the ability, they're missing the ability to form work groups and study groups. And since you can't congregate before and after classes in the hallway, so you have to be more intentional about that. So knowing that physical contact has to be minimized for health and recovery measures, what are some tips and resources students can use to help form virtual study groups? And I think we'll toss that to Karina.
Yes, hello. So as we always look to student needs, I want to, let them know, let's come together to form a virtual study group which tutors can take lead on. The H2M tutoring service has been open since week 3, and it has been underutilized. I'd love to see more students participate. Those links are posted on our tutoring website. If you have issues attending any of the times that are listed, please reach out to our group advising email as we can connect you to make a formal request. Also, any student can form a study session via their own Zoom room. And so it'd be awesome to see students form their own rooms and be able to connect, not only for study sessions, but maybe just follow up. So if you guys need any help, we're more than happy to assist you at your next advising appointment.
Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, here we have one. So for another from the Q&A. Will we have more opportunities to take classes from other campuses or more class variation? I believe that prior the difficulty was funding, thus creating limitations. Is this still the case? And Anna? Oh, Chancellor Haynes?
Anna can take it. That works for me.
So I want to answer carefully, right? Because this question of what we want to make sure that our students have the richest and most expedient path to graduation, right? So the answer to how do we help you get from here to the thing that you plan to do after you graduate, the answer is yes. Like, let's figure that out. What that means for any particular student and how that class schedule gets built is something that would be done in collaboration with your advisor. So that's why I'm a little hesitant, and I don't want to give a blanket answer, but there are lots of places where we are already working with other campuses to put sections together and do lots of creative things. And so I just would ask that for any particular student, if there's something, if you have a need, make it known to your advisor, and we absolutely want to work with you to build a schedule that gets you where you want to go, that's interesting, that's exciting, that supports your professional endeavors.
So I'll answer that a little more excitedly. Oh, I'm sorry. Because I actually think this is one of those silver linings that we have because of COVID, is that we know that there's been some barriers around taking classes at other campuses, and Anna's absolutely correct in that it's not going to open up everything, but we are going to be able to open up more broadly. You won't have to, for example, once we get this all figured out, change campus to enroll in a course on another campus. We'll have many more courses that will already have the capability to have distance and virtual delivery. And so that will open up the possibilities to our students and other students taking classes on various campuses. And interestingly enough, I went to physical therapy. I've got a little neck issue here, and my assistant said, I'm so excited because I'm a WSU Tri-Cities campus student, and I can take one of my prerequisites this fall for pre-PT from the Pullman campus. It's an optional course, but I'd never been able to take it before. So those things are opening up, and they should remain, or many of them will remain open as we move into fall 21, still hopeful for fall 21 being face-to-face. So we are working on those difficulties, and really glad that COVID has helped us make these important changes.
Thank you, Chancellor Haynes. So the question is there any way that students can be more involved in these discussions and these decisions in the future? What is your method for gathering student input?
Yeah, I'm also happy to follow up on that, Paul, Dr. Skelton. You're absolutely correct. The ASWTC or student centers are the ways to provide input into these schedules and stuff like that. In terms of class scheduling for folks, this is something that is ran, the schedule set by policy by faculty members, and input's very important. But as we're going forward, we are committed to providing more opportunities and ways for students to provide input into these decisions. For example, ASWTC, along with their other ASWSU partners across the system, have been working collectively with the Provost's office to make sure that they're being informed of changes as they're also being discussed at the higher levels of administration and also at the faculty senate thing. So my best advice is to stay engaged with ASWTC as student leaders, folks from the student affairs office. Talk to your faculty members too, who are members of this decision process. It's very important too, to provide your feedback, talk to them about what's happening in classes. I think it's very clear that everybody wants to make sure everyone's successful. So the more people talk about this through these formal and informal channels, the much more informed we are in terms of making decisions. Also being mindful also that we have to protect the health and safety of our community also too. That's the critical importance, is not only keeping you on track to graduate, but also protecting the health and safety of everyone within our community.
Can I
Thank
also
you,
add to that too, Dr. Skilton?
Go ahead.
So we, in terms of talking about the fees on campus, I just want to remind our students that we have positions available on some of these fees committees for students to offer their input on where we're assessing fees and what's being charged and what we're using those fees towards. So our student fees committees gathered this fall and made the recommendations that Chancellor Haynes mentioned earlier in her opening. So that was very heavily student-run decisions. And so just kind of want to throw that in there too. If you're interested in those opportunities, there are many positions open for students to join those committees as well.
And one more thing from the old person in the room, do check your email. We do send out surveys by email. I know email is less fashionable now than it was when I was a tad younger here. But do open your email. We do send you surveys and lots of information in the student newsletter that also comes to you via email. Got a lot of information out on social media channels as well. So just kind of make sure you're kind of checking all the angles, because we do try to communicate with you in as many ways as possible to get your feedback.
Great, thank you. So we have a few more questions coming in here. So let me see if we get them sorted out. Question here. So do we have to follow Pullman in every Pullman decision? If in fall 21, our numbers are fine, but Pullman's are not, does that mean we have to remain online?
No, that does not mean that we have to remain online. I thought I just typed something in, but I may have missed that opportunity. No, we do not. We have to remain in sync with the schedule, but we do not have to remain online. Even if Pullman does remain virtual instruction, we are cleared by the health department, et cetera, to go to do all of our classes face to face. We are free to do that, and we're free to do that for a couple of reasons. One is, you already know that the phases have not been equal across the state of Washington. That may be the case. Unfortunately, the Tri-Cities has been in the lowest phase, and Pullman and Vancouver actually opened up sooner than we did for many activities. So we've been sort of the lag so far. But if we continue down this path and continue to rise in phases, and perhaps Pullman or another campuses drops in those phases, we do not have to follow what they're doing as far as virtual or on campus. It's largely going to be dependent on what's happening with the virus here. We do have to continue with their scheduling. We do have to be in sync with their scheduling. That would be the only thing.
Okay. Any other questions from the audience that would come through the Q&A function? That would be great.
Dr. Skelton?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a question that I saw that popped up.
So I'm thinking of moving back to my parents question. Yes. So Jessica would like to answer this live. So I'm thinking of moving back to my parents because it's a better option for me. If any of my classes are in person, we'll have an option to be online instead of in person.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy to start answering that question. Jessica's one of our chat moderators, so I think she was asking for one of us to answer it. I think that's a great idea. So as we were talking, with qualification, right? As we were talking, making up plans, having a discussion, as we've discussed, the classes are online, but they're not totally virtual. There's going to be that flexible environment, and from that perspective, knowing that there can be very few exceptions in terms of courses and that are clinical that what might require some face-to-face. If it's more advantageous for you or any student to move home and continue enrolling through WSU Tri-Cities through the spring semester, I would highly encourage you to do that. Great piece of advice is make a plan. Meet with your academic advisor, talk about this, talk about your situation so they can make sure they're the ones who are best equipped to know the schedule and what impacts might have and help you to work out those type of solutions. So that's a great example of a solution where we're here to help, and we know that everyone's going to have unique situations, but now's the time to start talking about that, to make those arrangements so you can be successful in the spring.
Dr. Skelton, if I could just jump in and add
Go.
to what the conversation. So I think one thing that's important, and we have to even keep reminding ourselves, to make sure we're using language that makes the most sense. So WSU Tri-Cities is offering courses that are virtual, right? Global offers classes that are online. So I think, yes, to Dr. Meyer's point, we want our students to make whatever kind of physical moves or do whatever they need to do to stay on track to graduate. If moving home with parents is how you do that, that's a good plan. But when you're building your schedule, either when you're dealing with your classes now or building your spring schedule, use the course catalog, and the classes are going to be, it'll tell you like it's a virtual course. So we still expect that you are available at the times that are listed, right? Because it's not online, it's not asynchronous education. These are still rich interactive experiences. So with the exception of lab classes, and if you're in a lab science, then 100% please check with your advisor. And but for most students, the thing that's most important to keep in mind is that there is an expectation that you're still part of our learning community at a particular time and a particular day. And we just ask that you build your course schedule in a way that you can be successful by making it to those classes.
Great, thank you, both of you. And I guess I should point out that the campus has invested in Zoom capabilities for all the classrooms. So it could be that when we go back, the normal will not be the old normal. We will be able to do Zoom all the time, forever, I guess.
I think, oh, go ahead, Anna.
Oh, sorry, Chancellor. I said that students should communicate with advisors, but I should have also added that if you have a particular question about a particular class, it's always appropriate to reach out to that faculty member and ask them what their plans are, just to make sure that all the information is triangulated. Because I know, like, for instance, our nursing students have things, as you already mentioned, that are face-to-face. So between you and your advisor and the faculty member, I am confident that all that information is available.
I was going to say that having the high flex model of course delivery, I think will continue going on, or modified high flex to be more precise, but being able to have more options for students to access courses will continue. And I think that, again, that's one of those silver linings of COVID that I get excited about, except for when I think about snow days or lack thereof.
Yes. Another question from the Q&A, will sub be open? Some people with children who might need to be out of the house to study need study space. So who would care to address that?
I'm happy to address that. Evelyn is a main tenant of the sub. She would love to get back in the sub. Currently, right now, based on the plan, there's not a plan to open up the sub, but the sub for the spring semester in an attempt to safely recover. However, there are the study spaces that are available on Monday and Wednesdays in Pasco and Prosser, and also study spaces are available in the CIC. And as we've mentioned previously, we're planning to expand more study spaces that are available for folks in the spring semester, knowing that is critical towards their success. So we're looking for other options, but currently right now the sub is anticipated to be in some form of closed fashion unless things improve over the spring semester.
Okay. So students should just keep their ears open for announcements about additional study space.
There's additional study spaces, but to remind them that we do have spaces now available at Prosser and Pasco. I'm going to ask one of the moderators to paste the link to those spaces because they're open on a limited time period. The CIC is also, the main lobby of the CIC is available during building hours for students at any time to use space too. And there's a lot of spaced out areas there that they can find a quiet spot to also.
Great, thank you. Which one am I on here? So students who want to participate in any of the committees we mentioned should reach out to Robin Kobus, who's the WSU TC president, to apply. And another question from the audience: is there a way to ensure that tests and assignments aren't due over break days during the spring or throughout spring semester, or a way to have assignments due on the weekend? Because if we're in person, assignments would be due on weekend days. Anna?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for asking that question. And I'm happy to reiterate that we are working with the faculty to ensure that there are no exams or major projects due the day after these breaks. And so we really do want students to go ahead and plan those micro breaks and take that day, right? And I know it's, like I said earlier, I know our students are under incredible stress and that it will be tempting to pick up an extra shift at work or plan on, cramming, but we understand and respect the need for breaks. And so we're going to ensure that the faculty do their part, and then we ask that students go ahead and give themselves permission to take breaks as well.
So question from the Q&A that I'm going to preempt my maybe we can get an answer to this directly live. At the beginning of the town hall, you talked about likely having to wait until after the upcoming election in order to do something. I got distracted, so I was wondering what we would have to wait for until after the election. And you did answer this in the Q&A, but
I'm happy to address it live. So the Department of Education has authority to determine how classes are offered, et cetera. And they, for institutions that offer face-to-face courses, we were authorized to offer classes online / virtually until December 31st, 2020. We we'll need an extension on that to continue on with our plans, as will the entire country to continue on with those plans. It's not just us that are waiting for that, but we don't expect to have a Department of Education decision until after the election. That's just because everybody's focused on the election right now. So we expect soon after the election to have a Department of Education decision, or at least we're hoping for a Department of Education decision now would be great, but certainly close to after the election happens.
Thank you. So if, are there any further questions from the audience? Q&A. So in the absence of any questions, do we have a panelist want any concluding remarks? Anna?
Thanks, Dr. Skelton. I'm sure others do as well, but I just want to speak directly to the students who took the time to attend today and to ask questions. We really appreciate you coming today. We really appreciate your questions. And then I just want to kind of take my admin hat off for a minute, put my faculty hat on, and just say to all of our students, and the ones in my courses in particular, because I see you more often than others, I've been really impressed with the quality of the work that you're producing this semester. And I understand that these circumstances maybe are not favorable, but and it's hard to kind of see necessarily how it's going to play out. But as someone who's been in higher education for a very long time, I see that you're producing good work, and I see that you are still progressing towards the goals that you have set for yourself. And so I just want to kind of affirm that that you're still on track. We are still learning. We are still doing the things that we needed to get from A to B. And it might look a little different, but I've been in this business for a while, and I really see that my students are doing exceptional work this semester, and I'm really proud of them. So.
Hear, hear. Other panelists?
I would love to make a brief plug for the WSU Tri-Cities Voter Engagement Center. As many of you are aware that there was legislation enacting this, and through tremendous efforts of ASWCTC, the Benton County Auditor's Office, and many folks on campus, we're going to have a full-blown election center along with our ballot box, which will be opening up next week, where you'll be able, we'll provide information not only to the Cougs, but to individuals in the community about how to vote and do that stuff. So you'll see some announcements about that very soon, but I want to make a special acknowledgement of the advocacy of your student leaders to making this happen. And we're quite proud of it, and make a plan, get out and vote early.
Thank you, Dr. Myers. Chancellor Haynes, were you raising your hand? No?
I think Karina would like to go first. I'll let her go first.
Okay.
I just want to say to all the students and staff and faculty, we appreciate you so much as we continue to work on what resources we want to implement for this upcoming semester. We definitely miss you, but I understand given the circumstances, but good luck.
Thank you.
I'll chime in here too, since all of my other colleagues are. I just wanted to give students a little heads up that the Student Entertainment Board is likely going to be opening their final 2 Coug packs for the fall semester, opening those back up to anybody who didn't get to sign up for them. So just another opportunity for students to get some type of engagement for those, and then just to be on the lookout for those Coug packs that are going to be coming in the spring as well.
How about chancellors? Can chancellors do Coug packs? Because they look like a lot of fun, I'm telling you.
You got it.
They really do. So I'll keep my administrator hat on and say I'm really impressed with our students too. It is amazing. You amaze me every day, but you amaze me even more during this time of COVID. It has been truly remarkable seeing how you've adjusted and the resilience that you have shown. I said this in another forum, and I'll say it here too. That resilience is going to carry you far. The ability to adjust and to adapt to ever-changing situations is huge. Not an expected, or at least not in this way, an expected part of your college education, but a very important part of your education and for life, your career, and everything that's ahead of you. So I'm so impressed with your ability to be resilient, to stick with your education, and to come out of this strong. Thank you so much. You're an inspiration to me, and I'm looking at Karina's quote on her on her wall, and I think that it's fitting here. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. We'll get through this together. Thank you all for attending today, and thank you all for your continued inspiration.
And with that, I have a question from YouTube that I think we probably ought to answer. So testing dates seem flexible right now. Will they become more permanent or fixed as time goes by? Flexible dates make me uncomfortable, or am I misunderstanding this point?
I'm throwing that right to Anna.
I'm wondering, I'm not sure I totally understand the question. So I'm wondering if that person's still in, if they want to jump in YouTube and clarify. Are we talking about flexible dates in courses? Are we, or anybody else who wants to help me understand? I'm eager to answer, but I need a little more information.
She added, okay, so set dates will be presented as usual despite the mini breaks and the lack of a permanent spring break where testing would normally occur. In other words, midterms usually happen around spring break. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So it's perhaps I might have been confusing earlier. So we're asking faculty not to really respect the boundaries of those mini breaks. So when you get your course schedule on the first day, there will still be exam dates. There will still be project dates. You're just not going to see those directly following any of the breaks. Thanks for helping clarify that.
And the final exam week is the same as it would have been in the normal schedule.
Yeah,
Correct.
same rotation, same summer rotation.
Right.
Just a week earlier. That's expected.
Okay. So I want to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon. As a reminder, if you have additional specific questions for anyone, student affairs and student advising staff are standing by after the program for the next half hour to answer your questions. To join a room, click on the link, paste it in the comment section that Ian should be posting here shortly. And then you can also book an appointment with someone from Student Affairs via their virtual booking site if you can't stick around after the program. So the link for televisit right after this is https://tricities.wsu/televisit/ and the appointment link. Have we got those posted somewhere?
Paul, if I may mention as those links are getting posted, that invitation also extends to family members and friends and the supporters of all Kirks. We're really proud of being part of the Tri-Cities community. So we extend that offer to anybody else. So if you just looking for advice or ways to connect or support your KIG, feel free to contact us, and we're happy to connect with you. And also, we're in this together, so feel free to reach out to us directly.
So thank you very much, and we'll hang on. And thank you for joining us, and enjoy your lunch.
Go Cougs!
Yes, go Cougs.